heard shots. What happened?
I sent them a message.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Good morning here. Stranger Oddity Show, coming back with you. Having a cup of coffee, and I recently gone over to the record store, my favorite place to search around, spend money, and do all that kind of sort of thing. Yep. People often always ask me, like, what is it that, what is your, like, what do you do, like, for passing time? What's your favorite place to shop and, go through and spend your money on? Record store, yes. I love buying records, CDs, DVDs, VHS tapes, always going through there, books, and just kind of rating all that stuff. So I have a few places I stop, and Zia Records is one of them, and the others is like a Bookman's. I'm really big on supporting local record stores, local outlets like that continue to still offer those services. I'm a firm believer in still having the physical media in your hands. I don't like the whole streaming bit or the digital download. I guess I'm just too analog or something like that. Now, the streaming thing is interesting. I understand it. It is pretty neat. I shouldn't throw too many stones at that. It's definitely unique because you can really just search, and you have a wide variety of stuff on there. But for me, a lot of it is if I get after some of these movies that I'm after, I usually want to hold them to keep them, and I'll watch them over and over. It's not something that I usually watch once and then kind of a thing. I will watch them again and again. So I was recently over there, and I picked up three items this time. Yeah, I went ahead and got first one up on the list that I'll go into the order in which I found them in. I was just kind of looking around, and I happened to find Zombie 3, a Italian horror film. Lucio Fulci, the late and great, awesome director of a lot of these Italian horror films. Now, this one here, I heard that. I grab a drink of coffee here for all the listeners. I heard that he only did about half the movie, or 3/4 of the movie. I guess there were some creative differences on the whole thing. From what I read, that he had some creative differences between him, producers, or something like that. The script. They had gone over to the Philippines, I think, to film this. Fulci and his daughter, and they were, spent like 6 weeks out there filming, and then they were looking at the script. They did some rewrites and stuff, and I guess the powers that be were not happy with that. So that could also be why the film seems a little like strange in a sense, where you're watching it going, it makes sense, but it doesn't. But then again, you're really seriously watching a lot of these Italian horror movies come on, everybody knows the effects, the makeup effects, the gore, the blood and all that. It's just these films are awesome. They really took over, and a lot of this spawns from George Romero, Dawn of the Dead, all that. A lot of them, they just really love that. Dario Argento was a big fan of Romero, and always hanging. They were. I think he went over to Rome to hang with Dario to write Dawn of the Dead, all that. And so, but it's although funny at the same time, because I don't think Romero ever used the term zombie in any of his films. I think he just he always kind of referred to him as something else. But now Zombie 3, where it kind of falls in line in the order, it's kind of weird how to kind of gauge these. The Dawn of the Dead, I guess they consider like Zombie 1. And this is strange because we're talking about an American film. Then Lucio Fulci made a movie called Zombie. And but Zombie is Fulci's kind of interpretation as the sequel to Dawn of the Dead, which I mean it is. It's just this is just from what I understand that kind of how it goes. So Zombie 3 is just the legit Italian sequel to the original Fulci film Zombie. And if you haven't seen that movie, if you like the Italian kind of zombie films, it's definitely the standalone one. It really holds together. But Fulci, really known for a lot of his over the top movies like The Beyond, House by the Cemetery, City of the Living Dead, all these really over the top, New York Ripper, really over the top effects and stuff like that. But now I saw Zombie 3 there, and I remember having this years ago, and always kind of wanted to get it back. And so this was just one of them. And the other director, I don't know if they list him. I think they do. The guy that finished it up is Bruno Mattei, and I think he also did a lot of other, like, Night of the something living, not Night of the Living Dead, but Night of, like, the Living Death Corpse or something like that. They're different under different names and titles. But he did one. There was just a bunch of different ones. I think he did one called Rats. There's a lot of cool old underground kind of these Italian flicks that were floating around. A lot of this stuff I was discovering, I guess, spoke on the last radio we did, Suncoast Videos, back when I used to be able to go there and shop and find all these VHS tapes and stuff. That was good times. All right, next up on the list is, now, even though it's a movie I already own, and I already own it on Blu-ray, but this one here is the Scream Factory edition, and not a lot of times that's what it is, different editions. And if it's a movie I really like and a movie I watch often, I will buy different editions of them just to see whatever they have. And now this edition is this was worth picking up. It was only $5. It's a collector's edition of Halloween 2. Now we're talking about the original 1981 Halloween 2, not the Rob Zombie one. No disrespect to Rob Zombie as the director, but Halloween 2, his variation of Halloween 2 is just an abomination. That movie is just wretched. It's terrible. It's god awful. This is this is a, I recall renting this again back in, the glory days, if you would. This collector's edition, for one, starting is it has the awesome reversible slip, or the reversible artwork. So it gives you that old VHS artwork, which I remember, which is the skull in the pumpkin. And it, it's used to say, I forget, it did say something across diagonally on the corner. This one says all new, and I don't remember on the VHS tape what it said. It may have said that, but I remember it saying something like the nightmare isn't over or something like that. But this one is, it's different, but it did, the movie itself, they took a little bit of a different turn from Halloween, the original Halloween, 78. That one worked a lot with that original movie. If you watch Halloween, the original, it's like it works a lot with shadows. It's very old school cinema. It's very Alfred Hitchcock, black and white, the good old stuff of Lon Chaney, Bela Lugosi, etc. It works a lot in that matter, and there's really no blood in it. So Halloween 2, they were kind of stepping things up and doing things differently. And I understand, like, some people were saying, they wanted to still keep with the same theme of the first one, but they were, heading in different directions. But they did it for the better. It's not too over the top. Donald Pleasance reprises his role of Dr. Loomis. Obviously, he saw that there was some kind of a good thing going there. Halloween 2 is definitely one of my favorites of the bunch. I must say, if you're into the Michael Myers films, My opinion, obviously the first two, and then part 4, 5, and then 6. 6 is for me is stretching it. That's like kind of the last. It's like okay, I. One of the reasons I hold 6 in there is because I saw that in the theater. I liked it. It definitely was a good one. But as far as like to me, they were the best ones. They were best. The 4 and 5 are in their league of their own. Those are kind of like that's why I kind of like these, because 1 and 2 are kind of like their own class, and then 4 and 5 are kind of their own like little bundle. So that's the way. And then 6 it just kind of stands alone as a more of a modern update version of those. Of course, it was like in the 90s it came out. But that's the way for me, I kind of gauge it. And reason I didn't mention 3, if you don't know, Season of the Witch has really nothing to do with Michael Myers. It, as its own horror movie, is great. The fact that it's associated with the Halloween series is what I think killed it a little bit. But if you watch it alone, it just as a horror movie, it's wonderful. It's actually great. So this one here, the Halloween 2, this special edition also includes the TV version of the movie. I didn't know there was a television version of this, so that's another cool bonus. I kind of realized that it came with that when I opened up the disc here. And then also there's interviews and the making of and all the actors and stuff. Now, Dick Warlock he plays the Shape, and he got the original mask from Deborah Hill, and so the mask you see in Halloween 2 is the same mask from the original. It's just gotten older, and just obviously they didn't really take care of them. They didn't really expect there to be, so. And it's so funny is all the horror hounds and all the guys are real serious about this stuff, because the actor Warlock has a different shaped head when he donned the mask. Now, probably being latex and stuff, it's aged. It's the rubber is probably getting a little. It's not as it was as it once was when it was first brand new. So it probably took to the missshaping, or the shape of Mr. Warlock's head, which is a lot different than the actor Nick Castle, which played the original Michael Myers. His shape of his head and everything. Of course, the mask is a lot newer. So it's always kind of interesting to see all that. By then, by Halloween 2, the mask was definitely getting a little messed up. And it's so funny is because Halloween 2 picks up right where Halloween, the original, left off. So, all right. And then the last one that I picked up here is, which, I don't remember if I have it or not, but it was cheap enough. So I bought Death Wish 5. Yeah, I believe it's number 5. The Last Death Wish with Charles Bronson. It's called The Face of Death. And this one's, this is definitely, if you haven't seen it, of course it doesn't really hold up to the, any of the original ones. But in good old-fashioned Charles Bronson, it's still a fun flick to watch. Grab some popcorn and some junk food and definitely kick back and you just have a good time watching it. Really, nothing in there is going to surprise you, but, it's a good one. It's decent. It's decent enough where I bought it. But then again, I'm biased. I really like Charlie Bronson. So, no judge, no jury, no appeals, no deals. Just Paul Kersey. Once again, it takes some drastic stuff to get him kicked off and start going after them again. And of course, once he does, everybody knows you don't mess with Paul Kersey. So far as the Death Wish series goes, first 3 for me is probably the best. Part 1 and 2 are the most gritty. They're the most pretty surreal. Number 3 is when it started taking more of a comedy change. Part 3 is just like that's just a ball of life. Part 4, it's kind of trying to go back to the grittiness, but still kind of having to do with a little bit more of the over exaggeration of stuff, but still good. But then part 5 here, it just kind of completes the set. He runs around with what it looks like to be like a Smith & Wesson Model 66 or something. But yeah, he does everybody. He does everybody in the end, and of course does it in good old Paul Kersey fashion. But yep, those were the recent pickups from the record store. You guys know I love going there, so yeah, that's what we got. And of course, supporting local, supporting the physical media and stores like that still exist. Absolutely.